Hey scholars, for today's submission, we are going to do three things. Well, you're going to do three things. I'm going to show you how to do them, and then you're going to do them. So, all right. So these are the three things. First and foremost, you're going to learn how to use Desmos graphing calculator. If you haven't already been to desmos.com, you are in for a treat. This is a really powerful tool. We use it all the time in the math world, and you're in the math world, so you're going to be using it too. Also, we're going to use Desmos, and we're going to look at how to find zeros of polynomial functions from their graphs. And then the third thing is you're going to learn how to use the snipping tool. It's another thing that might happen to you in this class. You're going to get kind of techie. If you have taken computer science, you probably already know a lot of these tricks. If you haven't taken computer science yet, then after this class, you'll just be all the more ready for it. Anyway, snipping tool, little thing, nice tip and trick to have in your pocket. So your homework is going to look something like this. Maybe some more questions down here to answer follow-up things. But it's going to say, like, find the lowest root of the function. Now remember, roots can also be referred to as zeros, right? And we are talking about the x-axis, where it crosses the x-axis. When y is equal to 0, you are on the x-axis. So first of all, let's go over to Desmos. So you're going to type in Desmos, and you're going to do .com, desmos.com. It's that simple. Now you can see, obviously, like, mine comes up because, like, I use it a lot, right? And there's a scientific calculator and there's a graphing calculator. I'll show you how to find both, but we are going to use the graphing one today. So boom, you can click right here, go to graphing calculator, or later you can go to graphing calculator from the math tools, or here's where you can use the scientific calculator or any of the other kinds of calculators that you would like to try. They're all there. The geometry tool is really fun as well, and the matrix calculator will blow your mind. If you want to talk about the matrix calculator and see some cool stuff, I could show you some cool stuff during office hours. Here we go. Graphing calculator. So it says find the zeros. Now I got to remember what zeros I need to find. Find the lowest root of the function. Let's see. This one's got a lot more terms. I'm just going to start down here. So x cubed minus 4x squared boom. Now there it is. Now let's just pretend. So these are in fact all the zeros, and I know that they're all the zeros, not only because I picked this particular function, but also because I know a little tip about this power of 3 here. I'm going to take you there in a second. Just so you, like, just in case, I don't know if your window just pops up the same as mine does every time, but let's just say that you, like, came in here and you graphed it, and that's what it looked like. And you were like, oh, there's my zeros at -2 and, you know, somewhere between 0 and 0.5. Oh, actually, let's figure out what that is. You should be able to hover over it, and then it's going to tell you right where it crosses. When y is 0, you are on the x-axis at 0.172. So that's going to be one of your zeros. But let's say you, like, weren't sure. You can always zoom out a bit, right? And just, like, double check. Just like, okay, I'm pretty sure that's the only spot my function's going to be. And you can click on all of these, and it will highlight where all your zeros are. So this one is at -2, this one is at 0.172, and this one is at 5.828. Now, if I asked you what is the highest zero, obviously you're going to choose that 5 over the negative number or the decimal. And if I ask for the lowest 0, you're going for that -2. Also in your answers, please write x equals -2. That would be fantastic. So when you're ready to type in your next function, right, you can just do it right on this graph. And you can just type in all the functions that you need to find the zeros for and just have it all on one nice pretty graph. So I'm just going to do a different one. Let's just say it is, let's just say it's like x plus 11. Get it out of the way of the other one. Notice I decided to do plus 11 so that I got it out of the way of the other one. Had I done like plus 5, because you know the lonely number on the end determines the y-intercept, right? So this should have a y-intercept of 2. This one has a y-intercept of 11. Had I chosen a different y-intercept, then that transforms the function. Oops. I wonder if I can grab onto this thing. Can I grab onto you? No, it's just going to do that anyway. Notice, let me do it again. If I had done, you know, plus 5 halfway, right? Okay. Then it moved that line down a bit, right? And I didn't want it to cross the y-axis at 5 because it just like, it was just getting kind of crowded. So remember, we are going to do some transformations, but you can always shift it up or down with this lonely number. And that's because if you disregard the whole rest of the equation, right, you're not doing anything to the x's, to those x numbers. Like they're just sitting there, like this x squared is being multiplied by that like -4. But by adding 2, you're not actually directly affecting any of the x's. What you're directly affecting is the y value. So you've just added 2 to the y value, so that just like moved it on up, right? If you subtract, I went from 11 down to 5, so if I like subtract 6, it's going to go down 6, right? Okay, I'm going to get rid of this one because I don't want it to be crowded. Now, before you like answer the questions on this, I'm going to click here. It's a nice 0. I wonder, just every time I mess with it, I gotta re-click. Okay, whatever. I like to make this look kind of pretty. Sometimes the settings in here, this is like 18, and then I'm out here at 20, and then I'm like here at like, I don't know, 18 again. I like it to look better, and I like it to be kind of square. That's just me. So always hit projector mode. It makes it a lot more obvious where things lie. And then you know, sometimes I like to set this. So like my x-axis, you know, I mean, I need to see this out here. I need to see this -11, but I don't need this to go all the way to 20. So, I mean, you could set this to whatever you want so that you can see it better. So like, let's say it's like -15. And then, you know, my highest value, I wonder if I can hit tab, yes. Then I don't know, maybe I'm just gonna go to 10 or something like that, okay? And then on the y-axis, I mean, this looks pretty good. I would kind of like it to be just a bit more square. So let's just make this nice and pretty, you know, -15, double negative there, -15 to 15. All right, so that looks, I mean, to me, that looks nicer. You can fix yours up however you want. I'm just gonna like pop these in here. And then now I want to turn in my answer. Maybe one of them was like find all of the zeros. The next question was like find the smallest of the zeros. I want to pop my answer in here. So I'm going to find the snipping tool. Now, there are different shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts for pulling up snipping tools on, your regular PC versus Macs versus Chromebooks. So you might have to Google what yours is specifically. And I'm not sure, sometimes Macs come with really fun extras. So they might have something cooler than like a snipping tool, right? But I don't know. I don't know what they have. What I do, and I don't think you can see it when I present my screen, but I have a little search bar in the bottom left corner, or even like a little magnifying glass. You can also go into your applications. Maybe that's in like a folder somewhere, right? Like find where all the things are located on your computer, all the programs that you have. You have something built into your device that will take a snip. You can also take a screenshot. That's totally fine. I just like the snipping tool because the snipping tool allows me to actually draw on the snip. So I'm not sure what you can see down at the very bottom. I'm not sure how far it goes, but I do have this little search bar and I just type in there snip and snipping tool pops right up. They've also updated snipping tool. So there might be like Snip Pro or something like that, like whatever says snip. Mine is already open because I use it all the time, every day. And you're just gonna click new snip. It might be down in the bottom left-hand corner as a big blue button. That's possible for you too. Wherever you see new snippet, your screen kind of turns like shaded. And then you're just gonna decide where you wanna start the snip and where you wanna end the snip. So, okay, cool. There's my snip. Now, the nice thing about this is you have options like with these pens. So you could like write right on this. So I'm just going to pull up a black pen here. And if it says find the lowest zero, you're going to be like, well, there it is. Okay. Or I don't know, circle it, or you can customize your pen however you want. Blue pen, red pen. Maybe you want highlighter. Be like, oh, this is my lowest one, and then here's my other one, whatever it is. But you can like write your answers right on there. So now, in order to upload this into Canvas for the assignment, you need to actually save it. You need to save it as some file on your computer. I think Chromebooks automatically just like download the snip to your like in your downloads. Like I think it just automatically saves them when you pull them up. If that, you can also, what I always do is I hit copy because I'm constantly working in my Google Slides, which this is always a nice place to put things if you want. So I can just paste it right there. There it is. And then if I need to add something to it, I can do that with a text box and I can add to it and just be like, answers are highlighted for your convenience. Okay, something like that, all right? So that's really nice. And there's Desmos. There's how to find zeros of polynomial functions. And the snipping tool. Oh, I think I am going to have you find the roots of this nice, pretty quadratic, right? You should notice something between, if you factor this quadratic and solve for x, you should notice something between that and the roots. This is a nice special case of factoring. It's really pretty. You should also notice something about this quadratic function if you were to plug it into the quadratic formula and notice the radicand. So the radicand on this is going to be greater than 0. It's going to be positive. So that's an indicator that you do have 2 roots of that function. Also, another thing to notice, we graphed x cubed. So notice with x cubed, I'm going to zoom out real quick. Notice the highest power here is 3, right? And so that's an indicator is how many times it bends. So this is like one bend right here at the top. It's -1/8, right? There's one bend. And then down here it bends again and it comes back up, right? So if the highest power is 3, you're only going to have 2 bends. If the highest power is 1, we go by the same rule, right? Because this is like x to the power of 1, right? That like 1 is hiding up there. It's not going to change anything, right? X to the power of 1, like it's going to have 1 less bend than the highest power. So this has 0 bends. You know that. It's a linear equation, okay? So over here, how many bends should x to the power of 4 have? How many bends should x to the power of 3 have? How many bends should x to the power of 2 have? I want you to, probably going to ask you that question. Okay. Have fun.